Welcome to Beesearch 101. Our names are Cassie Rodriguez and Kelly Reno. We are your school librarians and we're going to work on guiding you through the research process. You've been given a very interesting assignment to complete today. You are going to be researching sustainable bee communities, or apiaries, how to create them, what supplies you would need, how much money you would need to budget, and how to ensure that they can be successful for a long period of time. Once you have completed your research and you become a beekeeping expert, you will create an operation plan for the first year. In order to get all the information that we need, you're going to learn how to effectively use search terms in order to locate information, decide which resources are best for the type of information you need, and evaluate all the sources that you find to make sure that they are trustworthy. We want to make sure you're getting the most accurate information possible to ensure that your beehives are successful. We're going to be completing lots of practice steps together before you do some research on your own, so make sure that you're following along. Before we start researching, we need to think of some questions to guide our research. To do this, let's think about the parts of our assignment. We need to figure out how to create a bee community or apiary that is not only good for our environment, but is able to sustain itself, which means that it can be maintained for a long time. Maybe our first question should be, how can environmentally responsible beekeeping help promote sustainability? We also need to figure out how to do this. We need to find out what we would need to build this apiary. Our second question could be, what are effective ways to plan, build, and maintain a sustainable apiary? Whenever you do research, you want to make sure that your questions are open-ended, meaning that the answer is more than a simple yes or no. When you research with open-ended questions, you're making sure that you can get lots of different answers and information.
Now it's time to begin our research. First, log onto your computer. Second, open Internet Explorer. You should see the school's homepage first thing. Then, click on Library Media Center and Student Resources tab.
We're going to start our search with the Kentucky Virtual Library, so please go to the Student Resources tab and click KYVL. Once you're there, you will see a link to middle school students. Click that link and then select Student Research Center. Let's start out by doing some research just on beekeeping itself and how a sustainable beehive can help our environment. We can do a basic search, but since we have several search terms to use, let's choose Advanced Search. We could type in beekeeping, but to get more search results, we have to tell the search engine that we would also like to see apiary, which is the technical term for a bee community. So between the two, we would type in OR in all caps. But we want to get more information, so let's type AND in all caps, and the word sustainable. Your search term should look exactly like mine. Let's see what kind of results we get. None of these results focus on creating or maintaining an apiary, and this won't really help inform our assignment. So let's see if we can get even more specific results by adding something to our search. We also need to see what goes into the management of a sustainable apiary, right? How it works and why it works well. So let's add AND in all caps and the word management and see if it gives us some different information. Here's an example of one that discusses apiaries, beekeeping supplies, and working on a beekeeping business. This one may be more beneficial to your research project than others we have seen. Remember, you can print or save these sources to use later.
Let's give Mrs. Rodriguez a hand. Thanks for getting us started on how to use a database to find articles on beekeeping in general. The Student Resource Center is a great starting point. But now we need to figure out a budget and where to find supplies. We may have to use a different type of search tool to find that type of specific, practical information. This is when a search engine like Google can be helpful. We just have to use the right terms. Now everyone go to the top of your browser and open a tab. Let's go ahead and type in www.google.com. Now that we're here, let's search for information about apiary budgets. We'll use the search terms beekeeping or apiary and budget and hit enter. Wow, we get a lot of results, including one from the University of Kentucky. Local sources are great. We will need to remember to come back to that one later. You will also notice that on the right-hand side of the screen, Google shows ads for sites related to your search. While these companies pay to have their ads appear, it doesn't mean you can't refer to them. Just be careful about what they are advertising. You will need to price and identify supplies, so some of these business links may be helpful. You can continue to add and combine specific search terms to find information about every aspect of your project. Just make sure to use the correct operators. And don't forget that you can also use these terms to find images, as well as videos, to help you visualize what apiaries look like and what beekeepers do. You all have been doing a great job at following along. Now that we know how to search for information, we also need to know what to do with it once we've found it. Let's go back to our tab with the Student Research Center results. To help determine if the resource will be helpful, we need to look for a few things. Number 1, accuracy and relevance. Even with our refined search terms, we still have many news articles that are more about current events or farm tours than beekeeping practices. Let's try to filter those out. We're going to go to Filter Results By and click on Magazines. That may give us more articles on beekeeping itself. That helps. Let's narrow our results even more by looking at the subjects. Beekeepers seems relevant. This is much better. We can also narrow these results down even more. Since we need to know about beehives, let's click there. Wow! The first result is all about sustainable beekeeping. That's an accurate article. Number 2, currency. Check the dates listed for each article. Ideally, you want to find information that has been updated within the past 5 to 7 years. Number 3, authority and source. Pay attention to the type of publication. Let's go to our Google search for an example of this. Remember this PDF? It's from the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture. A good rule of thumb is to look for information from sites that end in .edu, .gov, or .org. Those sites usually contain information written by experts in the field. To narrow down your search results to these type of sites, simply type site:/edu or site:/org into the search bar. Look at all these great budget results. With these steps in mind, you can begin collecting the information you want to use. If there is a PDF file available, you can save it to your flash drive. You can also copy and paste a web link into an email for later reference. To review, start your research by forming a research question. Make sure to use the right resource to fit your needs, input specific search terms, and use Boolean operators to clarify information you want. Narrow your search results by topic, check for currency, and use authoritative sources. Finally, make sure to cite your sources. Good luck on your projects. If you have any questions or need individual help in locating resources, please buzz on down to the library. We're always here to help.